So I'm Pastor Pete, ordained pastor in the Christian Reformed Church for a number of decades, and I now serve my purpose, my calling, as a specialized transitional minister. So this is my first video. We're in the middle of the coronavirus episode in 2020. I've activated my YouTube channel for some things for the church that I'm serving right now, and have long had the idea of starting a channel also where I share some items that are related directly to my work as a transitional pastor. I will at some point make a video explaining what that is. But for today, what's really pressing on my mind in this time of anxiety and watching things happen in churches related to the anxiety of the virus situation is to give an introduction to some of the leadership thinking that and some of the ways that problems come about in churches. I have beside me here a stack of some of the key books I quickly pulled off my shelf that address some of these things that I've learned so much from. I have objections to some things in some of the books, and I've learned a lot from them. And what's particularly striking is if a situation arises in a church that fits exactly the model that one of the books presents. And so today, with this video, I want to introduce this book here by Edwin Friedman called A Failure of Nerve. Edwin Friedman and really the fellow that started family systems thinking back in the 80s are set a foundation for where a lot of the thinking is today, where we understand that good leadership today, whether it's in church or anywhere, is also about a certain kind of what I call a deep keel in a sailing terminology, a certain kind of solidness as a person emotionally that makes you a good leader. And it used to be all about technique and those kinds of things. So I remember starting to read this book by the same author, Rabbi Edwin Friedman, and having great difficulty. This was when I was first introduced to the work of a specialized transitional minister, and I was told this is one of the key books to read. I believe I've started it 3 times and never finished it. And such is the way. I've had that plenty of times with books, and then 10 years later I pick it up again and suddenly it all makes sense. So Edwin Friedman is a rabbi who did a lot of studies on leadership, and this is kind of a more accessible book than generation to generation. And so I want to introduce a part of this book that is really relevant right now. I'm not going to commit to covering the whole book or anything like that. I just go with what's pressing now. But because I'm not one that likes long videos, what it's going to come down to is that if this intrigued you, you'll have to look for the next video to watch. So catch you later.